No, I don't. They're like right now? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
So you here for a little while to visit, or?
well, I have been here since, when did we get here? Wednesday?
Well, you know what, I think I talked to you on Thursday, you said you
Yeah,
were driven from somewhere.
yeah. So got to Charlotte late Monday. Tuesday drove to Raleigh, picked up my partner. Then we drove to Chapel Hill, and my first minister and longtime friend is the minister emeritus in Chapel Hill, and he had a stroke in April, so I came to see him in his convalescent center and to basically say goodbye because he's preparing for hospice. And so did that, and then came back to Charlotte, saw a couple of college friends. So I think we were maybe driving back to Charlotte, but he was driving and I wasn't, so that's how I could talk.
That's how you could
Yes,
talk, right,
yes.
right, right.
And so we've been here since Thursday, I guess.
Yeah.
And I have two friends who have been here for about 20 years. They retired here. And so I try to see them every year or so.
Are you staying with them?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Good.
So-
Nashville's a lovely place. I've been here about 3.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not too long.
yeah.
2 of those years being pandemic.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
Trying to reinvent yourself with the big blips.
And you had a grandchild in the room the other day, so did you
Yes,
move
yes.
here for family?
Yes,
Yeah.
my son and daughter-in-law have 2 kids, and one of them, Emerson, who's now 4, was born at 26 weeks.
Oh, my.
2 pounds,
Oh my God.
and he was in the NICU for about 110 days. So when he came home, I retired a little bit early to come down and help him because that is not a baby that can go to daycare.
No, no.
So, yes, I've been doing the grandma thing.
Wow.
Which has been wonderful.
Yeah, that's great. Where did you move from?
Boston. the
Oh,
Boston
that's
area.
right, because you have a
Yeah.
617.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What town?
I live in the South Shore of Boston.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of Situate.
Situate, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so there's Quincy, Weymouth, Hingham, Cohasset, Situate.
Yeah.
Those are all along the,
Yeah,
all commuting suburbs.
Yep,
of
yep.
Boston.
yeah,
But it's a great little seaport town.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Really-
there a church there?
Yes, well, actually.
I know
there
there's one in
is.
Cohasset.
There's Cohasset, there is one in Situate, but the bigger one that I was associated with, because I originally was living in Hanover, so I went to the Norwell Church.
Oh, okay. I think so.
We had a minister there for 30 years. Dick Fuchs.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
I know Dick, yeah.
oh,
His-
he was so wonderful.
His reading number 515 in the back is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, he was just, it was lovely. Then we had a minister we had Vicki Weinstein there for 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
And then, what happened after that? Then we had another minister, came from California. Sherry, no. But that didn't last for too long, unfortunately. Now they have like a contract minister. So you've been with your church.
14 years.
Yeah. I saw that interesting article about that was kind of that declaration of equal standing.
Uh-huh.
That was very.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great, great, great. I went to Meadville in Chicago, and I did my internship at 2 churches in the Beluchani district. In the morning, I was at the New Bedford
Oh, yes,
church.
you said that,
And then
yeah.
at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I went to South County in Rhode Island,
Oh, my gosh.
which was pretty new then. I think maybe it had been founded in 1990.
Okay.
And it's 95. And so I would go there, and they had rented space, which is why they have a 4 o'clock service.
I see.
So, and I was pretty much on my own there, because they didn't have a minister.
Wow. I think I did go to the New Bedford
I can say hi to people. Yes, I'm a music director. Yeah, we sang in the spring. Oh, great. So we're all from the summer coming up to the summer. And music Sunday, so. Great. Yeah. They wanted to sing. We tried in the fall.
is it? Should we light this now?
I would like it.
Okay.
Yeah, standing here thinking of you know, everything.
Two minutes.
Okay. Just put this here.
Yeah. Have you been worship associate?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not a trained worship associate.
Okay.
Not at all. I just got.
I thought it was your first
I
time.
got hornswoggled into this because of, I'm on the finance committee and this,
Well,
and the topic is finance.
well, if for some reason we go astray, don't be alarmed if I get us back on track.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because I'll do that. I'll just say, no,
Yeah.
skip that or whatever.
Sure. Right.
I'll do that. I'm glad to know that. It's not out of meanness. Oh, I know. I know. That's great.
We'll count on you.
Is it in your script to remind people to turn off their cell phones?
No.
We haven't been doing that, and I think we should. Okay. Well, I can do it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
When would you do that?
When I say hello to them.
Okay, so you're gonna go.
After you introduce me.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, just waiting a couple. I'm gonna wait till like. Don't worry. That's okay. Yeah. It's just going slow. Okay. Okay.
We're just, sometimes we just start, and then all of a sudden it's a little bit of a rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have to do that too.
Okay.
So, this guy's name is
And the other one is Steve. Good morning. My name is Marta Reese, and I'm the chair of the Finance Advisory Committee. Welcome
to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. We are glad you are here, congregant and visitor. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, you are welcome in our faith community. If you are visiting here in the sanctuary, welcome. If you're visiting online and want to learn more about us, click on the link in your chat box. While you're in the chat, we invite you to introduce yourself and tell us from where you are watching. We are glad you are here. I'd like to welcome and introduce our guest minister, Reverend Dr. Roger Jones. Reverend Jones is one of the co-ministers of equal standing at the UU Society of Sacramento, where he has served since 2008. He serves on the boards of his UU district, area YMCA, and a medical center's chaplaincy training program. He has degrees from Indiana University, Meadville Lombard Theological School, and the Pacific School of Religion. A warm welcome, Reverend Jones. Now let us prepare for worship with today's centering music.
Good morning. Thank you, Les, and thank you, Marta, for that introduction. It's great to be with you. As Marta mentioned, I'm visiting from the congregation in Sacramento, so I'm happy to be visiting and preaching from your pulpit for the first time. So if you're a visitor and you don't like what you hear, come back next week because I won't be here. I would like to start by saying something that I try to say to my congregation every Sunday morning, which is please turn off your cell phones or silence them so that you're not embarrassed inadvertently. And even if you're at home, turning off the ringer can help you be more present for our time together. The words for our call to worship come from the late Peter Rabel, with revisions by Scott Taylor, both UU ministers. It's based on a passage in the book of Deuteronomy in the Hebrew Scriptures. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. We are ever bound in community. May it always be so. This is as it should be. Together we are more than any one person could be. Together we can build across the generations. Together we can renew our hope and our faith in the life that is yet to unfold. This morning, let us gather for worship in hope and in faith. The symbol of the flaming chalice represents our broader Unitarian Universalist religious heritage, and as we light it this morning, we affirm our connections to congregations across this country and around the world. We kindle this flame, the symbol of our shared search for truth and understanding. In times of celebration, may its brightness reflect our gratitude. In times of need, let its warmth renew our connections to one another and to the spirit of life. In times of confusion or uncertainty, may its fire bring us courage and commitment. In times of change, let its light illuminate our values, and may our values call us forward into better days together. Please join me now in singing hymn number 126, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. It's in the gray hymnal and it will be on the screen. Please rise in body or spirit as you're comfortable.
Together in thy home.
I have a wisdom story for you this morning, which is a reading, which is a paraphrase, actually, of passages from the book of Genesis in the Hebrew Scriptures. It's about a famous family in the Bible. Isaac and Rebekah had two sons, Jacob and Esau. The tradition was that the firstborn male child would have the birthright and would inherit the father's property. This was true even if the sons were twins. While Rebekah was pregnant, she could feel the children wrestling in her womb. Jacob grabbed at his brother's heel, but even so, he couldn't prevent Esau from emerging first into the world. The boys grew up, and Esau became a hunter, a man of the open country. Jacob was content to stay at home. The father, Isaac, had a taste for wild game, and he favored Esau, the firstborn. Rebekah, on the other hand, favored the second one, Jacob. The brothers grew up into men. One day, when Jacob was cooking some red lentil stew at home, Esau came in from the open country. He was famished. He said to Jacob, "Quick, let me have some of that stew. I am starving." Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." "Look, I'm going to starve to death," Esau said. "What good is a birthright to me?" Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank, and then he got up and left. Many years later, when Isaac had become an old man and was nearly blind, he called his older son Esau and said, "My son." "Yes, father." "I'm an old man. I might die any day now. Do me a favor. Go out into the country and hunt me some game. Then fix me a hearty meal and bring it to me to eat so that I can give you my personal blessing before I die." Overhearing this, Rebekah took the formal clothing of her older son Esau and put it on her younger son Jacob. Because Esau was a hairy man, Rachel used goatskins to cover Jacob's hands and the smooth nape of his neck. And then she placed a hearty meal which she had fixed into Jacob's hands and gave him some fresh bread which she had baked. Then Jacob went in to his father and said, "My father." "Yes? Which son are you?" Jacob answered his father, "I'm your firstborn son, Esau. I did what you told me. Come now, sit up and eat this meal so you can give me your personal blessing." "So soon? How did you get it so quickly?" Isaac said. "Oh, Father, your God cleared the way for me." Isaac said, "Come close, let me touch you. Are you really my son, Esau?" Jacob moved close to his father. Isaac felt him and said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He didn't recognize him because the hands were hairy like Esau's. "You're sure you are my son Esau?" "Yes, I am." Isaac said, "Bring the food so that I can eat and give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him, and he ate. He also brought him wine, and he drank. Then Isaac said, "Come close, my son, and kiss me." He came close and kissed him. Isaac smelled the smell of his clothing. Finally, he blessed him. "The smell of my son is like the smell of the open country, blessed by God. May God give you of heaven's dew and earth's bounty of grain and wine. May peoples and nations honor you and serve you. You will master your brothers, and your mother's sons will honor you. Those who curse you will be cursed, and those who bless you will be blessed." This was Isaac's blessing of Jacob. Then Jacob left him. Right away, Esau showed up from the hunt. He had prepared a hearty meal. He came to his father and said, "Let my father get up and eat of his son's game, and then he may give me his personal blessing." Isaac said, "And who are you?" Here ends the reading. So now I would like to invite you to join me for a time of centering. First, I'd like to invite you to take a few breaths with me. We'll take a deep inhale breath, breathing in deeply, and pause briefly, and then exhale deeply. So join me. And now, to center ourselves and our bodies, for a second time, let us breathe in deeply and pause, and then breathe out deeply. And now, on this third and final time, after we breathe in and pause to hold it for a moment, let us exhale with a sigh full of our spirit, full of the emotions or prayers of our hearts. And as we continue breathing together, let us give thanks for the breath of life, lifting our bodies up and out. Let our breathing remind us that we are connected. We belong to one another, to this community, to the human family, and the family of all beings. And as we continue breathing, join me in openness to the spirit of connection as I offer these words of prayer. O Spirit of life and life's renewal, renew our hearts on this day and restore our strength for the days to come. In a world which needs peace and compassion and courage, help us to let go of the distractions and self-doubt and fears which keep us from bearing witness to the values which call us forward. Help us to act, give, speak, and live out of an open heart of courage, trust, and love. So may it be. Blessed be, and amen. And now, as we continue breathing together, let us continue for a few moments in silence.
Now is the time for acknowledging our joys and sorrows with a candle lighting ritual. If you're in the sanctuary, please feel free to come forward to light a candle. If you are online, please write in the chat box any joys or sorrows that you would like to share with the congregation. If you have shared a joy, know this community rejoices with you. If you have shared a sorrow, know you are held in love and care by this community.
Thank you, Les. Get your finances in order. So read the headline in a newspaper's business and money section a few years ago. It was the 1st of January, New Year's Day. The article gave us a checklist for the new year. Reduce debt, watch your spending habits, and get a discipline of saving money. Practical, important help. However, beneath getting your finances in order is everyone's complicated relationship with money. This is a spiritual issue, and like other spiritual issues, it can't be taken care of by New Year's resolutions and checklists alone. It takes practice, patience, and honesty. Nearly every religion or faith tradition has something to say about money, wealth, possessions, and resources. How we get them, how we use them, and how we share them. Liberal religious communities like this community affirm the importance of this life more than a future life. We do not dwell on other worldly concerns, but on how we live in the world as it is. As a medium of exchange, money is one way that we connect with the world. It has been an important part of my ministry and my own personal growth to pay attention to the relationship between money and our spiritual lives. I believe that we need to pay more attention to this relationship. If we don't pay attention to it, we risk ignoring the power and place of money in our lives. We risk confusing money with our self-worth and our sense of possibility. In relationships, we risk seeing money or using it as a substitute for love or as an expression of our hurt or our hostility. We need to pay attention, be honest, and show some patience with ourselves. For the next few minutes, I would like to invite you to go with me on a visit to my hometown where I grew up in the Midwest. It was a few years ago now. It was a visit to see my relatives. In the year prior to this visit, an aunt had passed away. My uncle, her husband, had died suddenly decades earlier when I was only 5, the same age as their son. And after my uncle's death, she moved herself and her son, my cousin, far away from our state. I hadn't seen my aunt for decades before she passed away. On this day, in my hometown, I'm visiting 3 other relatives, 2 cousins, 2 adult cousins, and their mother. "Did you get your money?" one of them asked me. I looked puzzled. "Didn't you get the letter from the lawyer?" "No," I say. Well, they tell me all about it. My late Uncle Roy's estate had included an amount of money to be left to all of his nieces and nephews, money that would be dispersed if any of it would remain after his widow would pass away. And now she has. So, every group of children of my uncle's brothers and sisters, every family basically, would get a lump sum of $48,000. Each one to be divided among them in equal checks. What this means is that a family of 3 siblings will share a bequest, getting $16,000 each. A family of 2 siblings would get $24,000 each, and a lucky only child would get the full $48,000. I express surprise at this news. They go get the letter and bring it to me, and I read it through. I look at the list of names. My various groups of cousins, my older brother, everyone in my generation except me. "I'm not listed here," I say. "Well, honey, you weren't born yet," says one of these relatives. "Yes, I was. I was 5 when he died, the same age as his son." I think, surely I was too young for Uncle Roy to conclude that I was a bad nephew and to leave me out of his will on purpose. He just forgot me. "What are you going to do?" one of them asks, getting excited and curious and nosy. "Well, I'm not sure," I say. "I guess I'll ask my brother about it. Anyway, it's only money." For the rest of that visit, we make small talk. All the while, however, my mind is racing. Let's see, with my brother and me, each of us would receive $24,000, but I won't. I was left out. Did my brother get this letter? He didn't mention it. I got here yesterday. I stayed overnight there. He hasn't said a thing about it. Is he hiding this from me? I need to ask him. The cousins in the room tell me about a recent phone call they received from another cousin about this money. And that cousin is the most outwardly successful and accomplished person in our generation of the family. Yet in spite of a great career and a 2-person household income, that successful relative never seems to have any money. And that person has been in touch with the others with this instruction: sign those papers now and return them to the lawyer so the lawyer will forward the checks to us. I realize that this cousin, well, neither this cousin nor any of the other cousins will feel like including little old me in some revised calculations to receive some of that inheritance. The only chance rests in my big brother's hands. My reaction to this news of a surprise inheritance or a potential inheritance that is like not feeling hungry at all and then walking into a dining room with a table of steaming, great-smelling food. Suddenly, I want everything. I get in my rental car and hit the highway to my brother's house. We've planned a dinner out, just the two of us. I think, I'll just wait, and I'll see if he brings this up. No, I need to get this over with. I'm worried because my brother has been worried about money. It's unrealistic, in my opinion. He was able to retire early, and his wife is still in a great job with benefits. Their house is paid off, and they own a vacation rental property. However, at the time of this visit, we're just out of the Great Recession, and he has no confidence in the government. The angry programs he listens to on talk radio only add to his anxiety. Well, I won't make a big deal out of this, I say to myself. Fights over money can tear a family apart. Before today, I didn't even imagine having any more money than my own earnings and my own savings. I think if he gives me half of that money, I'll just give most of it away. Yes, I will. In the book of Genesis, the brothers Jacob and Esau fight over their birthright, their inheritance. Esau, as the firstborn son, traditionally has the birthright. Yet after Esau returns from a hunting trip empty-handed, he's feeling very hungry. So hungry, in fact, that he accepts a bowl of red lentil stew from his brother Jacob on Jacob's terms. The terms are that Esau must give his birthright to Jacob. Esau trades in his future inheritance for the short-term gain of satisfying his appetite, his craving. Later on, the younger brother Jacob gets his mother's help to impersonate his older brother. He tricks his blind, aged father, Isaac, into giving the fatherly blessing to him instead of to Esau. In the story, the blessing cannot be taken back even after the stealing is exposed. This theft launches a tumultuous future for the Hebrew people. It sets a standard of disharmony for the whole human family. The first family feud over an inheritance. I don't want my brother and me to end up like those guys. I just want us to share. Now, I'm sitting in the kitchen in my brother's house. He's 12 years older than I am, and he's bigger and stronger than I am. He's standing and I'm sitting. I need to talk to you about something, I say. And I tell him about my discovery. I ask him if he's received the letter that I read at my cousin's house earlier in the day. He says no. Well, the others have, I say. You will. I explain the way this letter is written and the resulting situation I'm in and the humor of being the forgotten one. He doesn't get it. I avoid asking straight out, will you give me half of your money? I try explaining it more. See, each set of siblings has to share a lump sum among themselves. Since there are two of us, each of us would get, oh, he says. Now he gets it. He pauses. Yeah, I'll give you some of that money if you're nice to me. I want to ask, what do you mean by some? How big a fraction is some of that money? And what do you mean by nice? As a youth, I was not nice to my big brother. Looking back on my childhood, I see that I was taking out a lot of my frustration on him. I was angry at our parents. They were older than most other kids' parents and distracted by alcoholism and physically unhealthy and fragile. And so as a boy, I was careful not to be a burden to them. My big brother was happy, athletic, and popular, a safe target for my hostility, and strong enough to take it. And he took a lot of it from me. My brother married before finishing college, against our angry father's insistence. After college, he was unemployed. He mowed lawns to make money, and he borrowed money from our parents. Our dad used this to make my brother feel bad. Every $100 loan was an "I told you so." This was the 70s when $100 was a lot of money. On my birthday one year, I got a windfall of $1 and $2 gifts of cash, and I was mowing lawns by this time myself. So as an 11-year-old, I was feeling flush. My brother came to me and asked for a loan, $100. He didn't want to ask our dad again and risk more criticism and ridicule. I lent him the cash, and then I confirmed the terms of the loan by U.S. mail. At age 11, I really liked using the typewriter, and I would send him periodic statements of the debt that he owed me. And then after a while, I started sending postcards that announced, "Now past due." I don't recall if he paid me right away or called me names or got our mom to tell me to lay off. It was not a nice way to treat him. I realize now that in pestering my brother like that, I was trying to make a connection with him. An awkward, hostile, counterproductive 11-year-old way of connecting. When he moved closer to our home, he made some money doing small engine repairs in our shed, and I served as his agent. I put ads in the local paper for him, and I took phone calls during the day from prospective customers. He paid me a small percentage for this role. I would type up statements for my commission. I would take business reply envelopes from our father's office and use whiteout to change the name on the front from our dad's name to my own. And I would write to my brother to let him know what he owed me, $2 here, $3 there, and so on. Now, he doesn't owe me anything, and there's an enormous check on its way to him. He can choose to split it with me, or he can quite legally choose to keep it all. Fortunately, my brother, the firstborn son, has not been holding a grudge about how mean and hurtful I was as a child. He apparently has granted me forgiveness for my behavior. But will he also grant me a full half of his money? He could say he wants to save it for his own 2 children who have grown up and moved away. Money has such pull for us, such power. Of course it does. It is how we interact for the things that we need and want, and for the talents and the work that we have to offer. As a medium of exchange, money simplifies our transactions and our interactions. Yet because it stands for so much that we need and want and love and fear, money makes life complicated. Most of us learn our habits regarding money from the habits and attitudes of the family culture in which we grow up. Growth and healing from unhealthy and unhelpful attitudes will take attention, honesty, practice, and support. I still have some annoying personal habits around money, and I have my own share of anxieties about it. But in many ways, I have healed and grown regarding money. And the support for my growth about money and my life has come from 2 sources: from my friends and from the congregational communities that I have been a part of. Friends who are generous no matter their wealth or poverty, and religious communities that remind me of the abundance and goodness of life. In a spiritual community like this one, right here, I am reminded to appreciate my blessings and give thanks. I learn about the needs of our hurting world beyond these walls, and I learn about generosity. As a Unitarian Universalist over the past 35 years, I have learned that it's possible to stretch myself and give deeply and to feel good about it. I can give of my money, my talents, and my time, and feel joy in it, and freedom, and purpose. I can also feel good about earning money. Feel gratitude not only to have it, but satisfaction that I have something to offer that people choose to support. But as a fearful child from a family that fought about money, I had no idea what it meant spiritually to be paid or to pay others, to give or to receive. No sense of how to do that with ease and freedom. As a boy, I went with my mother on Sunday mornings to a mainline, middle-of-the-road kind of church. We paid a monthly pledge to the church, but I didn't learn what stewardship really means. Back in the 1970s, when I was growing up, many churches were timid about the connection between money and our spiritual life, our spiritual health. I drifted away from church involvement until I was about 24, and I explored various congregations of different denominations, eventually settling on a UU congregation. But in the congregations that I liked, I found people who looked at serious matters with honesty, and that included the matter of money and our relationship to it. I learned from them what stewardship really means. And this is what it means to me. Stewardship means taking a good look at what has been handed on to you for your use and your care. Whether it's this whole wide earth, or your country, your neighborhood, your church, all of it is handed on to us for using, tending, sharing, and passing along to others. We rise on the shoulders of generations and institutions that existed before we did. We live for a moment in the stream of life, and it flows on. Stewardship is about connectedness and about interdependence. It's about belonging to one another, belonging to the past and to the future. As a new young adult Unitarian Universalist, back then I learned that there are people who have diverse ideas about religious questions, including the idea that we can't know if there is a God, or if so, what the nature of God is. Yet they did have a spiritual practice of giving and sharing. From lay leaders and from ministers in UU congregations that I was a member of and later a participating member of and then later a minister of, I got the concept and the encouragement to set a target, an eventual target of giving away 10% of my annual gross income, and then to take steps toward that target over time. And at this time, I give about 6% of my yearly gross income to the congregation that I serve, and another 5% or so of my income to other causes and organizations that I care about. I didn't learn to do this from my family. I learned it from people like you. But speaking of my family did come through. At least my big brother did. He eventually did give me a half share of that inheritance, but he dragged it out over time, sending 2 installments in the mail. I did not send a bill this time. Fortuitously, those checks arrived around the time that I began a graduate program for a Doctor of Ministry degree, and some of it helped with tuition. And then our congregation conducted a capital fundraising campaign for a building renovation. And that was another good use for part of an unexpected gift. Nearly every religious tradition has something to say about money. And not because it's bad. Not because it's worthy of worship either. We should not idolize money, but we shouldn't avoid it either. But we can take it seriously. Like most resources, it is limited. Like our time, our attention, our talents, our health, it is limited, and it is important. However much or however little we have of money, how we deal with it is a way to practice our sense of stewardship and our sense of connection and relationship to others, to those in the past, those with us right now, and those yet to come. We can practice and we can strive to gain our money responsibly, receive it with gratitude, lend it or borrow it carefully, spend it thoughtfully, and share it with joy. Responsible, grateful, careful, thoughtful, joyful, joyful. So may it be. Blessed be, and amen. Please join us in hymn number 86 in the gray hymnal, Blessed Spirit of My Life. Please rise in body or spirit as you're comfortable.
Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion, be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
Oh, I can't keep these glasses from fogging. Whew. Our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you miss them, just refer to Thursday's weekly e-news as everything is described there. Before we begin the offering, I'd like to welcome our guests again. And at this time, we'd love to have you introduce yourselves and tell us who you are and where you came from. If you would like to do this, please wait for one of our ushers to bring a microphone.
My name's Pat Hilger. I'm visiting my friend James, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Rhonda, and I live in Houston most of the time, but I bought a house here nearby, walking distance, and intend to be spending more and more time. I'm working on renovating my house, and I really love Asheville.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Loic. I just moved to Asheville from California. I was living next to San Jose, so that'll be my home now here with my wife Abby.
Welcome.
We are Kristen Folks, my wife, and Tony Barbagallo. We won a weekend, and you guys exchanged in our auction from the Northwest Unitarian Universalist Congregation. And so our hosts, Bill and Deb Holden, hosted us for the weekend here. So we were just visiting.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Pullen-Wolf, and this is my partner, Kathy Banks, who just loves public speaking. So she's going to make the offering for both of us since I'm doing this part. We're from Fort Myers, Florida, and we're here getting out of the heat and enjoying Asheville for the first time. It's just a wonderful community, so thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Christina Phillipson. I moved here from New Hampshire back in March, and I come to this church via the Unitarian Universalist Church in Bedford, Massachusetts. So it's nice to feel back at home.
Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm Dee. This is Tara. She kind of shares the same public speaking that your partner does. We live in Waynesville. We moved to Waynesville in 2019, and then the world shut down, and we're just starting to emerge. So we're here to check it out.
Yeah. Welcome.
All right. Who else? All right.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome again. Our Community Plate recipient this month is the Ministerial Discretionary Fund. This is a fund used strictly for people in need in the congregation and the community. For the gifts of your time, talent, presence, and financial support, we are grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Les. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. And just to let you know that at the end of the service, the postlude will be a sing-along, so we hope you hang around for that. I have words of benediction that I offer to the congregation I serve at home, and since 2000,
early 2020, we haven't been able to join hands. But I would invite you to reach out your hands in a gesture of connection to one another here, to those at home, and if you're at home, reach out to us. And may you go out in peace and return in joy. For all who see God, may God go with you. For all who embrace life, may life return your affection. And for everyone who seeks a right path, may a way be found, and the courage to take it, step by step, breath by breath, one day at a time. Blessed be.
If you're online following the postlude, you're invited to linger and join us for conversation and virtual connection using the Zoom link provided in this morning's email. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing along with our closing song, Long Time Son. Please join me in lifting your hands as you are able in gratitude for all that we love and appreciate.